Hello everyone, I'm Mayor Vivian McKenzie and I'm coming to you from the Mayor's office. And today I have with me our head of our DPW department, which is Chris Gross. And we want to chat a little bit today about what goes on in our DPW department so that our families and residents and businesses know exactly what is happening in DPW in the city of Peekskill. So Chris, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, tell us about yourself and about your department.
Sure. My name is Chris Gross, and I am the Director of Public Works, as the Mayor had mentioned here. So essentially, if I can just speak a little bit about the three departments that are in the DPW, it's the Highway Department, Parks and Recs, and then also Sanitation and Garbage and Recycling Pickup.
I'm going to say a lot of people probably don't know that, so I'm glad that you said that there's three departments there.
Yes.
And when you talk about Parks and Rec, define that a little bit more, because we know we have Kathy Montato in Parks and Recs who does the programming, and what does your department do?
So within the Parks and Recs department, we do all the maintenance within those Parks and Recs. And all the parks that are owned by the city, the physical well-being of that park and the maintenance of the garbage within them, all the flags and particularly the riverfront is the big one. We do all the maintenance and cleanup of the bathrooms. There's in the riverfront there's driftwood that comes up on the park itself. We clean away that. That's a continual thing. So that's Parks and Recs, where the Parks Department, she covers all the programs and things like that. So
I want to bring you back a little bit to you said about garbage. So I have a pet peeve about garbage in the city of Peekskill, and I know a lot of other people do too. When we see these garbage cans that are full all the time. Tell us a little bit about that issue and how we're trying to correct that issue.
Okay. So the issue, and that is actually a common issue between the Sanitation Department and also in our parks. Many of the pitching cans, a lot of time they'll appear that they're full and overflowing, which they are full and overflowing, and the problem that we have is that a lot of the incorrect garbage is being put into these pitching cans. And the pitch-in cans they're exactly what the title implies, is that if you're in the Uptown or in the Bid or in one of the parks, the purpose of those cans are there for anybody that's a pedestrian or passing through or spending time in the Bid or in the park, to put the garbage that they're using at that time right into the pitching can, and it's a convenience to the residents and the public. Where it crosses the line is when people are putting other types of garbage that is not intended for those pitching cans. So an example of that would be household garbage if it's bagged up, or construction material. It was just this morning I saw there's plywood down at up against the pitching can, and that is not at all the intent of those pitching cans, and it makes our job cumbersome. It's the wrong type of garbage for the truck, and it makes it very difficult to keep those areas clean.
And it makes our city look unclean.
Absolutely.
So I want to clarify, so I know what a pitching can is, but for folks at home, the pitching cans are the regular cans that you see on the street. I think now we even have plaques on them that say pitching cans or say something about it. But they're a regular outdoor garbage can that's for pedestrian garbage, not your household garbage.
Correct.
So,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you're welcome. So if we could get people to not put their household garbage in it, it would really help us keep our downtown clean, and to not put items in there that don't belong in it, like at our waterfronts and things like that. I mean, plywood is not, there's a way. How would a person dispose of plywood?
Plywood is a piece of construction material, and we have a brochure and we have a code that's very specific to garbage. So if it's household garbage, there's a place for that. If it's construction garbage, generally the city doesn't accept construction garbage, and anybody that's doing a construction job or something like that, would have to find the appropriate place to put construction materials. But then somebody might ask, well, what if I have some planks of wood or fencing or something like that I'm taking down for my residential home? Those can be bundled up, and we would take them during like a bulk trash pickup.
Okay.
They have to be a certain size and can't be too big. Alternatively, you can also, if they're bundled, you can bring them down on Saturday for the Saturday drop off. But generally, if it's construction material that's from a construction job, the contractor would have to find his own way to dispose of that.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure. Yep.
So tell me some other things about the department.
Well, in our highway department, we're ending obviously we've ended the snow season, which I think yes, that's a good thing. But I have to hand it to the guys, or the highway department crew that they did a fantastic job. I don't think anything was 100% perfect, but it was we removed all the snow from all the roads. By the time the snow event was over, we stayed in until everything was removed, and I think the residents did a fantastic job in the alternate side street parking. So at the appropriate time, we came back in and pushed back to the curb. And I think generally everybody was very pleased with that. So and I was so.
Yeah, and I would say so. Residents will call and they'll let you know what's clean and not clean. Yeah. But I thank you and the department because it was a tough season, but it was really taken care of. So thank you very much for that.
The crew did a fantastic job. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. And so the highway department is transitioning into the springtime, and we have plantings that we're going to be hanging on the light posts. We have a whole list of trees, street trees that we'd like to have planted relatively soon, and it will extend throughout the summertime. The plantings, and right now we have banners that we're going to be switching over from the winter banners, and that's in the Uptown bid area. So the bid has the spring and summer banners that we're going to be putting up.
So it sounds like you're going to be busy beautifying our city.
Absolutely.
All right,
yes.
Getting it ready for the summer. That's great.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about potholes and how we take care of potholes.
Potholes, obviously right now we've gone through the plowing season, and the freeze and the thaw does just a complete number on the streets. So we've been the plants are open now, and they're producing asphalt. So we're out plowing, and the department keeps a list. And if somebody has something that they want to point out as far as a pothole or something that's to be addressed, we'll put it on the list and just get it done in the most efficient manner that we possibly can.
Okay, great. So we have funding for it, we have the stuff, and we're going to get it done.
Absolutely, yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
And I'll add too that the county is also doing something similar on the county roads with within that run through the city there. So
great. So we have a dual effort. That sounds good.
Yes.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you talked about having 3 departments, but I think there's some more that goes on in DPW as a whole. So tell me about, I think you have vehicle maintenance, and then you have
Correct.
building maintenance. So
Yes.
let's talk about those departments.
Yes, yeah, and 2 departments that sometimes very easily get looked over is like you just said, the vehicle maintenance department and building facilities. So the vehicle maintenance department, they are on top of all the vehicles and all the equipment, and we do. There's a separate garage for that. It's run by one foreman, and they do a fantastic job. They're on top of each and every vehicle and piece of equipment, like I said, and certainly there's a lot of proprietary, specific vendor repairs that have to be done by the vendor,
Mm-hmm.
and those things, are handled through that department as well. So,
It's wonderful.
so that's vehicle and equipment maintenance. The building facilities, it's the same sort of situation. We are the first responders to any heating and cooling, HVAC, plumbing, structural, any kind of building facility issue or item that goes through that department, and we first try to make the repair or address the issue in-house first, and if we can't, then we look to an outside vendor, and we do have a number of outside vendors. So.
And that's not just in City Hall, that's for all of the city buildings?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you're talking about the library, you're talking about the firehouse,
Yeah.
the
police
Paramount, the
department.
police
Yeah,
department, City
Paramount.
Hall, Youth Bureau, so that's a
Correct.
lot. That's a
Yes.
that's a big task.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any goals or things that you have planned for this year through the department that you want to talk about?
Yeah, and we were just talking about the building facilities, and there's a number of fairly major repairs that need to be done to a number of the facilities, and for example, City Hall, we want to do the repointing, and we see that there's some issues with the brick and the joints and the pointing there, so we want to address that. Same exact situation with the library. So we want to do that. We have a couple of HVAC repairs and just general maintenance that are fairly large that need to be done. There's a couple of HVAC units and cooling units that we want to get in before the summer starts really heating up. Mm-hmm. The police department has about, don't quote me on this number, but it's about 50 coils that just absolutely need to get cleaned, and that will completely change the performance of that HVAC system there. So.
Well, we need to get that done.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yep.
Oh, that's great. So for people at home, I hope you realize that our Department of Public Works really covers a large majority of the stuff in the city, and they're a busy, busy department.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about today, or?
Sure. I'll add goals for the highway department is that we have street paving coming up. So every year we choose a number of streets that logically make sense to do paving on them, and it'd be milling first. We take a layer of pavement off, and then we add a fresh top, generally just the top course that goes on top of the streets. So that decision making, number one, is an evaluation of the existing street and the condition of it. But we're also looking at our future upgrades to certain utilities, and that not only does that include city utilities, but that also includes Con Edison and the gas and the electric utilities. So Con Ed is really doing a good thing, and they're going through and they have about a 10 or 15 year plan for the city of Peekskill to upgrade the pressure service within the city of Peekskill. So part of that is changing the gas mains from an old cast iron or a steel, or sometimes it's a steel line that's wrapped, and all the new lines are plastic, and they're flexible. They don't leak nearly as much as the old cast iron lines had leaks and things like that. So that's a good thing, and one of the things that the highway department does is we are holding Con Ed's feet to the fire, so that when they install lines, they're putting them in an appropriate place that allows the city to one day have a lane for future expansion of our own city utilities. And also the restoration, the pavement restoration on that. We make sure that that's done appropriately. Everything is compacted, so we don't have dips and bumps, and we don't want our streets looking like Swiss cheese. So,
right. So in other words, what they
yes.
dig up, they have to put back and put
Exactly.
it back appropriately.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
great. And I'm sure that we're working with them to make sure that we're not laying roads and then they're coming and digging them up and we have to lay them again.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
right, so it's
Yeah.
all a process.
Yes, yeah,
Definitely.
we want to coordinate that, whatever utility work between them and us, that the paving is happening in a way that is the most, effective and efficient and cost-effective way. So.
Well, I want to say thank you very much. I learned a lot today. I hope folks at home learned a lot. If a person has an inquiry or something for DPW, where would they call?
The best place to call is City Services,
Okay.
and you can find that number online, and that's an office right here in City Hall, and the person can direct your phone call to the appropriate department and the appropriate person. So.
Okay, great. So
Yes.
I thank you very much. I thank
Thank
your
you.
department for all they do, and thank you for leading it so well, and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.